Hello. Hi, guys. Welcome to Corner Ticking Quickly podcast. With me here is Nikhil and Arun from the Goal Difference. Do follow him, guys. They've got a wonderful page on their Instagram as well as on YouTube. You can go out and check on the page. They provide us with great insights. Even I managed to score 74 points the last game week with the help of their tips. So yeah, chalo. I'll just start off with the podcast. This game week is like quite tricky in terms of captaincy options and all those sort of things. So I'll just talk about what kind of fixtures are there and what from which fixture we can make the best captain. That's all we are discussing in this podcast.
Yeah,
So with me, how are you doing, Nikhil, man? Uh,
I'm good right now. Hectic day, but okay. PL wise, FPL wise, I'm not that worried. I'm more worried about the Liverpool team right now.
their defense is in shambles right now, but somehow Klopp can manage to get the best result. We've seen that from him before.
Let's
So
see. I'm not sure, but let's see.
yeah, you guys are the champions, man. So just chill. You guys would be winning the next week. So
It's
how are you,
less
Arun?
drama.
How are you doing, man?
I'm good, yeah. Last game week was, it seems a long time ago now because of the
Yeah,
international break. Hearing all this news about COVID, players getting affected by COVID and all, it's like you just, chopping and changing.
yeah,
So, I mean, the game week was good for the goal difference. Personally, as well, I got 67 and goal difference got 98. So,
yeah,
that was a good game week, and we need to improve on that, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going for it.
But considering that people who made some early bird transfers the previous game week must be in dire straits right now. People who bought
Yeah.
in maybe Salah or someone like that. Um,
Sterling as well, right?
yeah, Sterling should be fit for
Sterling
this
is fit.
week,
Sterling is
but
fit.
Is fit. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I heard he was left out of the English squad, right?
He had a niggle, so I think he's fine.
Okay.
Ah, okay. So, chalo guys, we'll start talking about the fixtures. First of all, we'll start off with the first fixture of the game week, that is Newcastle and Chelsea. Guys, what Arun, you can talk about, since you're a Chelsea fan, you can talk about that fixture.
From an FPL point of view, right now I think the most transparent player for Chelsea right now is Hakim Ziyech. He's been
Yeah.
his value reduced from 8 to 7.9 when he wasn't playing, and then he burst onto the scene against Krasnodar in the Champions League, and then he scored that goal. Like, he scored a goal and assist against Burnley and provided two against Sheffield. So his price is like shot up to 8.2 now. And yeah, he's a good buy. He's a cheap route into a good attacking side, and I think getting him in would be favorable. Warner's value has gone up again to 9.4.
Mm-hmm.
Chilwell, who had a flag in the international break, he's fit again. The flag has been removed from the FPL app, so he's back fit. Zuma is there. Thiago Silva, I heard, may not play the game since he travelled with Brazil. So this is what I feel from Chelsea's lineup. A tip for all FPL managers: Jamal Lewis of Newcastle is just 4.3 million. So I think he's somebody that managers should consider as an enabling defender to spread your funds elsewhere in attack or in other parts of your defense. So Jamal Lewis is one to look out for. Callum Wilson may not be fit, but Jamal Lewis is
Yeah.
there. You can go for the left back.
Yeah. In
So
addition
what
to
about
that,
ASM?
sorry.
Sorry?
Alan San Maximum.
Yeah, he's there.
He's
Would
not
he be
consistent. Yeah, he's had one game against Burnley. He was too good, and after that, I think it's been very off. He's been more off than on,
yeah.
and I wouldn't I wouldn't even have considered San Maximan after the third or fourth game week. I mean, it's like I'm going big on midfield and attack, and there are better options in midfield to take. So I mean, he's someone I won't consider it.
Yeah, moreover, this term around, none of the top-notch defenders have performed that well. Be it Doherty, whom we had in our first drafts, maybe if you remember, or
Yeah.
Trent Alexander, or Robertson, all these players haven't performed that well when it comes to FPL terms. Maybe their on the field thing is much different to what their FPL score is. But yeah, players like Chilwell, Kilman, Mitchell to an extent, or James Justin from Leicester. Those guys have actually stepped up on the tank now. So
Yeah.
yeah, and there's even Fofana from Leicester, who's 19 years old, and maybe his value is what 4.5 or something.
Oh, he started off at 5 million if I'm not wrong. Fofana.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
If he
okay.
was
think five.
4.5, I would have surely taken him. I'd taken Justin in my team. I've activated my wild card, so I've taken Justin in my team. My personal team, not talking about TGD. I've taken in Justin because after the Liverpool game, he's got really good pictures. So,
Yes.
he's one to consider since Kastan is out till end of November or start of December. So, he's one to keep for team. I think Fofana is 5 if I'm not wrong.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
Talking about Liverpool, Nikhil, you can talk about the fixture, their fixture against Leicester. Hopefully, you guys would win
So,
that game, but what's your point of view?
looking at the Liverpool injury list, I think Leicester will definitely score one or two. So having Vardy, Tielemans, one of these two or both. If you already have them, then keep them, in my opinion. And I don't know about Castani if he's fit or not. But Justin Pereira is back in training. So if if the news is confirmed by tomorrow before the deadline, so you can you can choose Pereira. That's from the Leicester point of view. From Liverpool, Salah is not there for I think 2 more game weeks. So British rule states that he has to stay in 10 days isolation after testing negative. He has still tested positive, so I'm not sure to keep Salah for the next 2 game weeks. And I have already swapped him with Mane. And my other Liverpool asset mostly would be Diogo Jota, only because he's certain to start. Other than that, I don't think any other Liverpool asset will be that worthy to take a punt on.
Yeah,
And
their defense is in shambles at this point.
even the under 23 defenders are getting injured, so
So I
there's no
suggested you
point in
one thing.
keeping.
You can bring in your recruitment manager to play in as a centre back. Michael Edwards can play in. He has defended the
Yeah,
club's finances pretty well. Maybe he can defend the club's goals also.
Klopp can play.
On a lighter note,
I
yeah.
know that. Yeah,
But yeah, I'll just talk about Manchester United versus West Brom. So, if I'm not wrong, Marcus Rashford is still yellow flag. But in addition to that, Bruno Fernandes is a top-notch captain for me against West Brom. First of all, he started scoring open play goals, and in addition to that, he even has the penalties. So West Brom have been decent enough in the last 3 or 4 game weeks when it comes to their defense, but it always seems like um, there's one goal in them. They have to concede this. They have to concede this. So um, that's what prompted me to bring in Bruno Fernandes the last game week. He was basically I bought him in for that West Brom game, but he performed well for me against Everton also. Now, no doubts that he'll be my captain. So Bruno Fernandes is a captaincy pick for me. But apart from that, from West Brom, with Pereira not there, I don't think there's any West Ham assets you can bank upon. But from United's point of view, you can consider Marcus Rashford if he's fit, or Bruno Fernandes, of course, as I stated before. There's even Martial for that matter. Martial has missed so many big chances this season that I don't feel like having him in my team. But apart from that, those are the three players because there's no certainty about whether Cavani would play or not since he's been playing the uh, FIFA qualifiers, World Cup qualifiers again with Uruguay, and he'll be coming on pretty late. So there's that thing. So the top three assets for me would be Martial in the order would be Fernandes, then Rashford, then Martial. Then Arun, you can maybe talk about the most important game week of the match of the game week, Man City versus Tottenham.
Yeah, okay. So, as you all know, after the City Spurs game, the Man City have a swing of, the change in swing of fixtures. They have an easy run after that, and managers are already plotting in to get Kevin De Bruyne. And now the tip here is everyone's taken Fernandes now. They're going to take in De Bruyne now. So they're both going to have a double game week in game week 16. So I think it's better to plan to get in Man City assets now itself rather than wait for later because Man City have a superb run now. Although they have not scored more than one goal in 5 games now. So I mean that will change for sure. But planning to get in Man City assets is really good. And as Nikhil mentioned, Cancelo in the last podcast, I think he would be a good pick, he's played the last 4 games if I'm not wrong. Although Pep rotates, but I think it's worth it. Now I just thought about what Nikhil said, and it's worth taking in Cancelo as well. Sterling is a no for me, but I think if you're planning for the double game week, then you might as well take a punt on him. But the problem is you're banking too much on Man City to give you points, which is not a bad thing. But the form they've been in this season, I wouldn't want to. But De Bruyne and Cancelo would be, fine for the double game week. So you should plan accordingly. So over there. In my personal team, I have thrown out Kane and Son. So as boldly, I've thrown Kane out. I've taken in Patrick Bamford and I've taken in Mane. Mane always goes against Leicester, so and I had to remove Kane and Son out of my team because I think I can take them back after they play Liverpool at Anfield. So that's like in game week 16, they're playing Fulham at home. So that's when I think you should go back to Spurs assets. And apart from that, in defense, they haven't kept that many clean sheets, and 2 clean sheets this season in 8 games, not good enough for that to Jose Mourinho managed team. So I wouldn't pick any Spurs defenders. So yeah, that was my review for assets for
I
the
just had a
Spurs
quick
Man City match.
question to you, Arun, regarding
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Man City asset. What do you think about Ruben Dias as a potential defensive option? Because they're up against Fulham, West Brom, and all those easy games are there. So it is but natural, even if they don't score, they would be keeping clean sheets because these teams are pretty awful while going forward. So
So, I haven't really given Ruben Diaz a thought. For me, Man City defenders has always been taking an Ederson. Last 2 seasons, I've always had Ederson in my team if I've gone for a premium keeper. When I last season in game week 10 or 11, I just I was like, chuck the big keepers, let's go for a 4.5 million keeper, and that's when I got in Dean Henderson of Sheffield at the time, and that was a golden go. I got him in at 4.5 or 4.6, and his value increased to like 5.1, 5.2. I got a good profit on Dean Henderson. So till I got struck Dean Henderson, I was always fan of Ederson from the Man City defense. So Ruben Diaz, I wouldn't actually, suggest to managers. I've just suggested Cancelo, but I think that's about it. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as suggesting Ruben Diaz to anybody. Although if anyone wants to take a punt on him, then you can. But I would. For me, it's a no. For me, it's a no.
yeah, more than Cancelo getting this thing transferred in, sorry, are thrown out of the team. That's a bigger possibility than, for instance, Ruben Diaz to be rotated because he's the centre back and he has seemed pretty solid while he's been playing. So that's one point where I would like to differ from you as to why Ruben Dias is a better option. I just had a thought. I'll just contradict myself to what I said to Nikhil also before that. Um, what Ruben Dias has done for City has been playing consistently. Cancelo is there's always this fear of getting rotated. So Cancelo, of course, he's the more exciting options of the two. He'll provide you with more of the attacking returns, but with Diaz's fixtures, I just fancy him as well.
For Diaz, there's another thing, no? He's good at heading the ball. For Benfica, and he was the
Yeah,
main
even in the
corner
last game
threat.
against Portugal, with Portugal, he had happened to score 2 goals against Croatia.
But still, it's the thing, like if you want to take a punt, he's the last choice you will take at the moment from the City defense. So
Yeah. So moving on, guys. Nikhil, why don't you talk about Leeds versus Arsenal? I don't think it's a very
so
important fixtures for many of the.
yeah, Leeds versus Arsenal. Mostly people have Bamford in their team from Leeds, and some have Costa or one of Ailing or Dallas at most.
Yeah.
That's the most chosen. Those are the most chosen players from Leeds. Bamford is like most, I think 40 something percentage on Bamford. So Bamford will score definitely. Arsenal's defense, uh, Bielsa team can break them because Arsenal's team don't resist the press that much. Like you can score through them if you press them high enough. And from Arsenal point of view, I only think Bellerin. That's the only He's the only player that I think is worth taking the risk. Otherwise, no Arsenal player
Yeah, seems fair
for
enough.
me.
And then I'll quickly cover Burnley versus Crystal Palace as well. I don't think it's a very important fixture for the FPL managers, simply because players aren't owned that much. From Burnley, there's of course Tarkowski who plays reasonably well. But apart from that, in Crystal Palace, there's of course Zaha, uh, or for that matter, Patrick Van Aanholt. For the next 3 game weeks, Crystal Palace's fixtures are pretty decent. So, and considering he's just owned 0.6%, owned by 0.6% of the managers. So, like, he seems like a pretty decent differential to me. But apart from them, I don't think there's anyone to consider. Yeah. But yeah, since Arun, you bought in Krupal in your team, maybe you can tell about the West Ham United game against Sheffield. What do you fancy there?
I got in Masuaku, not Kufal. They're like they're like the Trent and Robertson of West Ham, I think. And anybody's pick, you can take anyone. Kufal gave 2 points bonus against Fulham. Luckily, Lukman Panenka the penalty straight to Fabianski. Otherwise, he wouldn't have got a clean sheet in that game as well. So I mean, they are the only two West Ham assets that I would pick right now. Maybe Jared Bowen, but that's again a punt taken. He's a good player, Jared Bowen, but I wouldn't. I would wait for Antonio to come back and then consider their attacking assets. But defensively, those who want to save cash can go for Balbu, and I think it's still 4.4. Masuaku and Kufal are 4.5. So I think these are 3 assets that you need to pick. Anyone going bold can also go for, not bold as such, but anyone wants to spend a little more money can go for Lucas Fabianski. He's good. He's primarily proven consistent, gives save points even when they're conceding goals. So I think he's a good pick as well. But for me, it's either of Kufal or Masuaku from West Ham. Sheffield United, nobody from
Yeah,
Sheffield, no one,
the way
literally
they've
no one.
performed this season has been pretty
Yeah,
awkward.
yeah, it's really bad. I'm surprised, man. I mean, one keeper change and everything's gone haywire. I don't understand what's wrong with Sheffield.
I think they don't have any luck at the moment because their
True.
attacking play is not that bad, like compared to the last season. They're not finishing their chances that much. And Ramsdale isn't that can't be compared to Henderson.
Yeah, true.
So,
He's good, but he's not Henderson level, I feel so.
yeah,
True. Then Nikhil, you can talk about your Aston Villa assets. Who do you fancy most against Brighton, and who do you have from
Um,
Brighton in your team?
I actually have players from both teams. I have Mings and Lamptey. Mings Martinez from Aston Villa and Lamptey and Ryan from Brighton. I have 4 players total. But I think since Brighton are have a low shot conversion ratio, I don't think Aston Villa will concede that many. And even though Brighton create a lot of chances, so I think Martinez will definitely be on in the goal for me because he'll at least get the save points because Brighton do create a lot of chances. So definitely Martinez will come up with a save or two. But I don't think he'll Aston will concede that many. and Minks definitely for me because Mopa isn't playing that good, so I don't think same Brighton aren't finishing, so I think there's a more chance of getting a clean sheet from a Aston Villa from an Aston Villa defense than a Brighton defense. And Lamptey is just a punt for me if he gets an assist. He's in a good run, but still I don't think Brighton assets are would be useful here. But since the Premier League has thrown up many freaky results, I do expect Brighton to do something, but still, it's just what do you say, enigmatic performance. I expect an enigmatic performance from Brighton's team. That's all.
Yeah. So last fixture of the game week, guys. It's Fulham versus Everton. Arun, why don't you talk about that?
Okay, so Everton have been on a downward spiral in the last three games, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin has still given points, by the way. So he's blanked in just one game, that was at Southampton, and he's not scored in two games. He's provided assists when he's not scored as well. So I mean, he's a must-have right now, and he's got the highest price increase as well from 7 to 7.8, and he's the most owned player with around 57% managers winning him. So I think if you don't have him, it's a problem because if he performs, you're going to go down the ranks, overall ranks, and your mini league ranks and everything. So you must have him in your team. Apart from him, I don't think James or I think when Richarlison's back, I think James will do well. But still, there are better options. See, from the Villa Brighton game, Grealish is a good option at 7.5. Even at 7.5, he's good. And Watkins is a good option. He's a striker though, but the Grealish in that mid range, Richarlison's a striker at 8 million, so you can punt on him. And Hamas will
True.
do well, but I am not sure. But about Calvert-Lewin, I'm really sure that he will score against Fulham. Fulham are the bogey team this season, along with West Brom. So I can expect DCL to perform in that game. And from Fulham, Mitrovic had shown promise at the start, but I mean, same as like Sheffield. I mean, I wouldn't punt on anyone from Fulham right now. Maybe so. Yeah, I think Fulham have no assets to consider. Also, I feel maybe Ola Aina, maybe. Because managers who watch Fulham games can tell you that Ola Aina is decent, but I wouldn't consider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Olaina can give you points, but the whole Fulham team is so shit at the moment. He'll definitely lose points. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Pretty well described the Fulham team, Nikhil. So yeah. So with that, we can conclude our session, and then maybe we can do one more recording right before the deadline if it requires, if there's any drastic news about any players. But apart from that, guys, there's that's it for us. And once again, guys, we've been seeing that you guys are not liking our streams that much. So please do go and like and subscribe thing. But yeah, and also follow the Goal Difference, guys, both on YouTube and on Instagram. Yeah. So yeah, thank you, guys, and
Thank you. Thank you.